Welcome back to the Means Report. As promised, we told you we were going to take a look at this wacky weather that's been going on right here at home, but really nationwide, especially the East Coast, getting hammered recently. Here's Chad Myers.
Another deadly round of storms pummeling states up and down the East Coast.
He opened the front door, and when he did, he says, "Mama, tornado, tornado." And he ran, and I ran.
2 days of storms, over 50 tornadoes reported, 7 killed, and hundreds of thousands now without power in the last 48 hours. In Virginia, a state of emergency declared. Tornadoes leaving dozens injured, several critically, and 4 dead.
This is tragic, man. I've never seen nothing like this before.
3 people in a mobile home were killed, including a 2-year-old boy. Powerful winds lifting their trailer almost 300 yards and slamming it into a church.
Our prayers goes out to the 3 people that lost their life, and we just thank God that, we went through a lot of damage, but the church is still standing, and we're going to recover.
Cars crumpled like aluminum cans on the highway.
The cars were tossed about, and I'm just so sorry that people were killed.
The tornado tearing down power lines and splintering trees, trapping some residents in the wreckage.
The glass started caving in on me, and I didn't know what to do. It was scary.
3 more tornadoes touching down in the Sunshine State, packing ferocious winds. In North Carolina, 5 tornadoes, causing a path of mass destruction. 4 people were inside this home when heavy rains and winds sent a massive tree toppling onto the roof. The residents miraculously emerging safely.
Our heart just goes out to anybody that's lost their homes or, their loved ones or anything in this.
Well, so there you have it, a rough week weather-wise. Chief Meteorologist George Myers joining us now. Not that kind of destruction here, George, but we had about every kind of weather you can imagine.
We sure did. We had the threat of tornadoes. We certainly had severe thunderstorms and a straight line winds. We had some small hail, thunder, lightning, and as we saw in this area, Brad, the past few days, a lot of trees and power lines were down. So we were fortunate compared to the folks north of us and to the west.
Well, and then one day you'd have high temperatures. The next day it's quite chilly outside. I know we're on the cusp of severe weather season in these parts. I guess it's getting an early start.
Yeah, severe weather season primarily in this part of the country is mid and late March through April. That's when we have the best chance for tornadoes, but tornadoes can occur any time during the year. And it was kind of rare for the folks in the East Coast to see twisters, but here in the South, our secondary tornado season is in the wintertime. And a lot of folks, you'll hear a lot of the national media will sometimes say an unexpected winter tornado in the South. Well, really it isn't, because we get these very strong, powerful frontal zones coming through, and they will spawn tornadoes in December, January, and even February. And it wasn't that long ago, back in I think 01 or 02, we had that Brown Road tornado which came through and did so much damage, and that was just before Christmas. And some of the video that came from that destruction looked like it came out of Oklahoma, down trees and power lines, clothes up on the treetops. So it was a real mess. So twisters can happen here during the cold winter months.
Well, so we always need, at least this time of year, to keep our guard up. Talk about the importance of having a plan in our home so we can stay safe.
Sure. It only takes 5 minutes to get together with your family and say, this is what we're going to do if there's a tornado warning for our county. And the best thing to do, and most folks in this area know this, you want to put as many walls between you and the outside of the house for protection. It's not so much the winds that hurt and kill people, it's the debris that the winds spit out at 150 miles an hour. So you want that protection. So you stay away from windows and away from doors, and you go as low as you can in your home to the basement or the bottom floor, an interior room or bathroom. So you just crank up your TV volume so you can hear the News Channel 6 meteorologist as you go to the closet or an interior bathroom, and you just take cover there till we give the all clear sign. Now out west, and this has worked in Oklahoma, Texas, and even some portions of Alabama, they've urged people to buy bicycle helmets or baseball batting helmets for their family. And you may feel kind of goofy sitting in your closet looking at each other during a tornado warning with batting helmets on. But many folks have had their lives saved when the rest of the house is totally obliterated and those helmets fend off that debris flying through the air.
Well, that's a new one, and that's a great piece of advice.
Sure.
Put the helmets on. George, I don't want to oversimplify things, but then again, I do. When you start talking on television about a tornado watch, is that the time to hit the panic button or the let's implement our plan button, or do we need to wait till the warning?
That's a good question because, you know, we work with this terminology all the time, but folks at home don't have to worry about it until the time arises. So there is some confusion. A watch means be on the watch for tornadoes or severe thunderstorms. They haven't occurred yet. A warning means the bad weather is underway right now. So a tornado warning means that there is a tornado possibly on the ground or one ready to develop. So once that tornado watch is issued, you should be ready to take action when that warning is finally issued. And make sure, and I want to mention this too, when I go to schools, a lot of times the kids don't know what to do. Because the parents, everybody's busy in this day and age. We just don't take time to tell the kids, if you're home alone before mom and dad get home from work and there's a tornado warning, here's where you go and here's what you do. So take time to talk to your kids too if they're home alone.
I can't let you be on the Means Report without talking about these weather radios that we've been talking about in our community and on the news. If we lose all power, if we don't have our cell phone with us, we're still okay with these, right?
That's for sure. And the best way to protect yourself from severe weather is not TV, though we certainly want folks watching TV when the weather strikes. We can give you all the information needed with our radar and the technology, but these severe weather radios are the best thing because folks can't be watching TV or listening to the radio in front of their computer all the time. And these are two different models by Midland Radio that are very popular, and these will alert you to severe weather around the clock. So if tornadoes should strike late at night and you're asleep, these radios will go off.
What is it, a sound that we listen for?
Yeah, it's a rather obnoxious sound, Brad, because you want to be awakened in the middle of the night. It's akin to your smoke alarm going off.
All right.
Now you can turn the volume down just a bit, but these definitely will wake you up in the middle of the night, and immediately a voice will come on from the Weather Service and tell you exactly where the severe weather is striking in your county. And this desk model right here, you can program this so it'll only alert you when severe weather is in your county. And now the Weather Service issues warnings in polygons. In the old days, it'd alert the entire county, but the entire county would not be impacted. Now these polygons kind of put the severe weather impact in slices. So you'll only be alerted if your part of your county will be possibly hit by a severe thunderstorm. So you're not awakened by a storm that's 50 miles to the south.
George, has the weather gotten worse since you took this job, or is it just that the technology has improved and we always know where it is?
Well, you know, there's always somebody who says, you know, this is the worst year ever.
Right.
But every year turns out to be different and odd in its own way. And I don't know if the weather's gotten any worse or not. Last year, tornado season was very, very quiet until December. Then it erupted in December in wintertime when folks usually don't expect it. And our hurricane seasons have been relatively quiet as well over the past few years, with a few exceptions like Sandy. But for the most part, I wouldn't say the weather has become more dangerous or more active than in the past. There's always those tornadoes out there that will hit, and if it hits your home, that's your tornado outbreak that's causing you all the heartache.
Yeah, that's the thing we always try to tell our viewers. I know you're frustrated sometimes with the weather interruptions, but if it was your neighborhood, you'd want us on.
And we don't go on TV that often doing wall-to-wall coverage, as we call it.
That's true.
We only do that when tornado warnings are issued, when a twister is on the ground. Because a lot of folks will get on there and say, you're on here all the time doing this. Well, really, we're not. And we don't want to interrupt your TV show. We really don't. Because we know you love to watch your shows. But if there's a tornado possibly on the ground and lives could be hurt or lost, then we feel it's our duty to get on the air and use the technology we have to warn folks.
All right, so we're taping this segment on a Thursday in late February. I don't want to put your feet to the fire, but do you see any crazy temperature swings between now and Masters, 20s, 30s, snow, anything like that?
Yes.
You do? It's coming.
Maybe not all of that, but you know, we're having a warm spell over the next few days, getting back into the 70s, but things are up and down this time of year. The temperatures will fluctuate greatly, and every time you think, hey, we're in the 70s, the azaleas are blooming, the cold air is gone, it's not over yet. Because we've had some of our biggest snows and some of our coldest snaps in March. And you know, you're out the Augusta National every year, and we have all kind of weather during Masters Week. We've had temperatures at freezing and highs into the 90s. There was one year, a couple years ago, you and I were on the desk covering tornadic outbreak. And so anything can happen between now and Masters Week. Once you get past Masters Week, then things kind of settle down into a routine right through September.
But you know, if you're prepared and if you have the equipment with you, as George has described, it'll help you weather those storms a lot better.
Sure will. Sure will.
George, thank you for being here.
You're more than welcome.
I appreciate it. Our Chief Meteorologist, George Myers, always grateful to him and